Hi, my name is Jim and I was retired. This is going to be a rather short video this week. I just want to show you a little spreadsheet trick that I've been using recently. And it's all about how I'm tracking treasuries in my portfolio by buckets. Stay tuned. Before I go there, though, please like and subscribe to this channel if you like entertaining ideas from a DIY retiree. I'm not a professional. I'm not selling you a course. I'm simply sharing my ideas to help you prepare for your own DIY retirement. Now, in my DIY retirement, I use a 3-bucket portfolio with 3 time buckets and 3 tax buckets. And then I track my entire retirement portfolio, my wife and myself together, across these buckets for asset allocation and asset location. Now, I have a whole playlist of spreadsheets that describes this in greater detail, but it basically comes down to using Quicken as the main record-keeping application and then using data for that for my portfolio by bucket spreadsheet in numbers. As these charts show, I've been increasing the share of T-bills, treasury notes, and tips in bucket 1 and 2, and these assets are the ones that I'm holding for the next 3 years in bucket 1 and for the next 5 years after that in bucket 2. And I've been moving to individual holdings rather than mutual funds and ETFs, so I have greater control over my treasury holdings. I don't want to be surprised again like I was in 2022. Of course, moving from ETFs to mutual funds to individual holdings increases the number of holdings in our accounts. So I began to look for a way to use Quicken data on these T-bills, notes, and tips to track them easily. I wanted to start with the data that I got in Quicken and be able to sort them across all of the accounts into date of maturity so that I can keep them straight in bucket 1 and 2. Now it begins with exporting the Quicken data to the clipboard and then pasting that data into my portfolio by bucket spreadsheet in its own Quicken data sheet. All the other sheets in the spreadsheet draw from this. So every week or so, you could paste your new Quicken data there, and all of the other pages are updated. But then I take a new sheet, which I've created called Sort by Maturity, and I've added that information that pulls from the Quicken data sheet. And then I'm using numbers categories to sort by that date of maturity column that I added here, and then grouping them by years. And I'll walk you through the process. Now, in order to sort by maturity, I've added this column to that new sheet that looks at the security name and selects a date value from the right 8 characters, extracting a date of maturity. Now, I have noticed 2 problems with importing the data from the Quicken data. The date of maturity is in the security name, but sometimes the CD will come with a date in the wrong format, 2024 instead of 24, or as in this example with a US after the holding, and you have to manually adjust for these. You use those category rows to calculate a sum for each year, and then I've added a chart on this page over here, and you see that the data that I've selected for this chart are those sums, the sum totals of the market values by year in the category view. You need to use numbers organize sort to sort this page before you use the category view. And when you do that, you will note that ETFs and mutual funds and other things without a date of maturity in the name have this error. And that means that they'll be sorted to the bottom of the page. That's when you can use the Categories view on this page to show your data organized by date of maturity, subtotaled by year. Now, I do this in numbers, and I know many of you use Excel or Google Sheets, but the concepts of date value and right are pretty easy formulas that should translate well. Numbers is unique with its category view. I'm not sure the way you might do that in Excel, but I'm sure there are ways to do that. The goal here was to take a download from Quicken, my main application for tracking all the financial data that I have, and you might use a download from a broker or another aggregator. But the goal is to use that data, extract a date of maturity from the security name so that you can track your treasuries in an organized way. So how do you track your treasuries? Do you keep all of your treasuries in one holding account, or are they in separate for you and your wife? Drop me a note in your comments below on how you do it. Or did you just surrender and just stick with ETFs and mutual funds? I'm finding lower expenses and more self-control when I own individual treasuries as opposed to the ETF. Now, I will conclude with my standard warning. I am not a financial planner. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a professional with initials after my name. So take these as entertaining ideas from one educated consumer to another. Always do your own due diligence and seek out a professional if you need one.